Hey guys, welcome back to another video presented to you by the Happy Chat Programming channel. Today we are back with another comparison of languages video. So I'm going to be Mr. Tcl. Tcl is a very popular scripting language. It's been around a long time. There are a lot of software hardware tools which use Tcl to configure tool settings and stuff. And so I'll be writing Tcl code. On the right hand side of your screen, you see there are two panes that you see on the right hand side. There is a top pane where this is a file that I've created. It's called tcl_vid, and I'm going to be typing out my Tcl commands here. I have the Tcl shell installed on my machine. It's at location /user/bin/tcl shell. And I'm going to type them on Tcl commands here. On the bottom pane is where I'll run this code. As you see here, I've already run this code. This is how you run the code, /tcl_vid, and it will execute the command inside the file. It will print out the outputs of the command. So that's what I'm going to do on the right side of the screen. And let's welcome Mr. Python here. Welcome, Mr. Python.
Hi.
So yeah, it's good to see you again after quite a while. And without further ado, let's get started. Let's go and I'll basically go ahead and show you how to create simple integer variables in Tcl. So the way to do that is simply you say set, and we'll create a variable called x. I'm going to set it to a value of 10, and all I want to do is I want to print out. I'll say I have a variable called, I have a variable whose value is with value $x. So $x will basically get replaced with a value of 10. So this is what it should print out. I'm going to save this, Command S, and come down here. Let me clear this away here, and I'm going to invoke this file, dot operator. The / operator simply means the current working directory, and it's basically just running this file, the tcl_vid. I've made it an executable file, so I'm going to just run this and it'll print out I have a variable with value 10. So handing it over to Mr. Python, take it away.
Okay, to set a variable in Python, it is very simple. All we need to do is type the variable name, which is x, put an equal sign, and write the value. And we're going to write 10. And now that we have our variable, we'll print it. We can use the print function, and with the parentheses, we can put a string that says I have a variable with value, and then now we'll add a space, and we go away from the quotation.
Yes.
We'll add a comma, and then we'll write the value or the variable.
All right, can you run this?
Yep.
So,
and there we go.
Wonderful. So yeah, I mean that is exactly what we did on the Tcl side. And okay, now that we've seen how to create a simple integer variable, let's quickly do floating or decimal values. Variables that store decimal values and also strings. So I'm going to create a variable called y, which will store 5.0. And let me also create another variable z, which is going to store a string. And in Tcl, when you store strings, if it's just one word that you're storing, you don't need to have double quotes around it. If it's multiple words, then you need to have double quotes around the whole thing. So since I just want to store a single string here, I won't have quotes around the string John. And having done that, all I need to do is put string. Let me print out the decimal. Here is the float variable with the value $y, and put string. Here is the variable. Here is the string variable, or a variable that stores a string, and $z. Command S to save it. Let me run this again now. Bingo. So it prints out, here's a float variable, or a variable that stores a float value, 5.0, and there's another value, a string value, which is John. All right, so take it away.
It is also very simple to do this in Python. For a float, we'll just write the variable name equals, and then we'll write the float. Pretty easy. And then we can also print it. here, oh, make sure you use the quotes. Here is the float, and then we can put the y here, and it prints the float. And then we can also do this for the strings. John. Here, oh crap, I forgot the quotes again. Here is the string, and then the z. There we go.
Alright, so that is that. And coming back here, so now that we've seen simple variables, let's just go ahead and show you how to concatenate two simple strings. So there's John. I'm creating a variable called A, which is set to a value John. Creating another variable B, which is set to a value Malone. And all I want to do is now concatenate these two variables together and put them out on the screen. So to do that, I'm just going to say put string, and this is square brackets here, open close square bracket, and I'm going to say concat variable A with variable B, and command S, give it a whirl. It did A and B. That's not, oh sorry, I meant to say $A and $B. And does that, and actually we can run this, of course. And another thing I wanted to show you was we can set this to a value C and say put string here is the concat variable $C. All right, there you go. So C, variable C contains a concatenated value John Doe.
So in Python, we don't even need to use a concat function. We can just make our strings and the last name.
Oh, so you don't need a concat command?
Yeah, you just need to.
Is it an operator?
Yeah, the add operator. That will do. And then you print just A plus B.
Oh,
There
interesting, interesting.
And if you want space between there, you could even do A and then plus and then quotes with the space and then plus B.
Oh, interesting, interesting. Okay, cool. So that's how you do concatenation in the two languages, Tcl and Python. So how about, let's just, okay, now that we've looked at variables and variable creation, let's kind of start upping the ante a little bit here. Let me create two variables, add them and print them out on the screen. So I'll have a variable called x, which will be set to a value 7. And we'll create another variable called y set to value 10, and now I'm going to add them. Now to add them, I'm going to say set z, and I'm going to say expression $x plus $y, and then so expression is a command that basically takes the two values and it'll compute this expression basically, which is $x plus $y, which is 7 plus 10, so it'll be 17. So z will be assigned the value 17. I'm going to put this out. Put string and then I'll say put string $z, command S, go down here, rerun it, there you go. So that's 17, 7 plus 10. So this is how you add two simple variables and print out the value. Back to Mr. Python.
I think at this point you probably don't already know what I'm about to do.
Okay.
So A equals 5, B equals...
even though I used x and y, so can you please use the same variable just so that our viewers don't get confused?
X equals to 7 and y equals to 10. And all you have to do is
z. Oh, you don't.
Is x plus y.
Oh, okay. And how would you create that value z, which is the sum of those two, x plus y?
Oh, that's also easy. You could just do z equals a plus b.
No, x plus y.
Oh yeah, I keep messing.
X plus y, excellent, and then
print z.
Print.
Or just type z.
Oh, okay, good. So that's how you get the same adding code in Python. Okay, all good. So now that we've looked at variables and how to create variables for integers, floats, and strings, how to do concatenation of strings, how to add simple numbers and print them on the screen, let's move on to how about creating lists? Let's do lists now. So the way you do lists in Tcl is basically like this. It's fairly straightforward. All you have to do is basically you'll say set. I'll create a list called LL, and this is my let's say list A, and we'll create a list of some fruits. Okay, so let's put an apple, let's put a banana, and let's put an orange in there. So we've got 3 fruits in there, and if I simply what do you think this will print if I say put string list A?
Probably all of them.
It should print all of them, and sure it does. It prints all of the fruits. So that's how you create a list, and you print out all the fruits. Basically, you're printing the whole list. What if you wanted to simply print one specific fruit from the list? So yes, I mean you can print a fruit at list index 1. So we start counting from 0. Typically in programming language we count from 0 instead of 1. So at index location 0 we have apple, at index location 1 we have banana, at index location 2 we have orange. So let's say we want to print out the fruit name at index location 1. So that should be banana. So the way to do that would be we'll simply say first string list A and 1. Do you suppose that will work?
Hopefully.
No, actually that won't work. Let me show it to you. And so Tcl is actually a command argument based language. So this is still kind of high level for the language. Okay, this has been around a long time. The way to do this will be there'll be a command. There is a command called list index. So it goes list index or lindex and $list A, and then here this is how you want to print it. So print the item at index location 1. So the square brackets are here. This is a square bracket, and you're saying evaluate this code, this command. So command being list index. What is the value at list index 1? So it will return that value, and that is what we are printing out. So this, and let me give it a whirl and show you how this works. So there you go, banana. Banana is at list index 1. That's how you do it. Handing it over to you, Mr. Python.
Okay.
So can you create this list?
Yeah, we just have to write the list name.
Okay.
Equals to, and then brackets.
Yes.
And then this is where we're gonna put our contents.
All right.
So since these words, apples and oranges, are strings, we need to have the double quotes.
Oh, okay. Or single
quotes. And then a comma, and then you keep adding your things to orange.
Okay.
There we go. And then we have our list made. And then we can print a list. There we go. And then if you want to print just one index of it, you can do list or the list name, and then and we just put our index
1. All right, wonderful. So you were able to print out the item at index 1 in the list. So that's how you work with lists. So now that we know how to create a list of simple item, a few items, and we can print out the entire list, or we can print out any item at any given location in the list. All right, so that is good. Now let's move on to what should we do next. Let's do loops maybe. Okay. Loops are a good idea to do at this time. So back over here in the Tcl land, and so typically most languages, they at least have 2 kind of looping constructs: a while loop and a for loop. So to do a while loop, let's start with the while loop. Yeah, okay. So I'm going to say set loop to a value 5. Okay. And then basically I want to start a while loop here. I'm going to say $loop As long as so while dollar loop is actually, instead of starting at 5, I'll start at 0. So that's my loop variable. While dollar loop is less than 5, this is what I want to do. I want to basically put string hello there, and at this point I have to set loop and expression dollar loop. So all I'm doing is I'm decrementing the value. Actually, I should increment the value. So I'm incrementing the value of the loop variable here. So okay, let's go over what happened here. So I'm going to say set loop to 0. So this variable loop is set to 0, and then I'm running a condition check here. While dollar loop, which is 0, 0 is less than 5, the condition is true. So enter the code. It'll print out the hello there, and then after that it'll execute this line of code. Here, all that's happening is we're evaluating this command. Evaluate this command, which is basically saying take the whatever is there in the variable loop and add 1 to it. So we had 0 in that, we'll add 1 to it, becomes 1. So the loop is set to 1. So we basically incremented the value from 0 to 1. And again, you go back and evaluate this condition while again, yes, 1 is less than 5. So you enter, you print this again, and then again increment it. Loop becomes 2. Go back here, 2 is less than 5, print it again. So you do this till loop is value 4. You print hello there for value 4, increment it to 5, and when you go back here, 5 is 5 less than 5? No, 5 is equal to 5, it is not less than 5. That's where you break, you come out. So all in all, you're actually printing this string hello there 5 times. So let's just make sure this is what we get here. Come back to the terminal, run this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wonderful. That's how a while loop works. Mr. Python.
Okay, to make a while loop in Python, we'll just write while. Actually, no, first we need a variable. So let's put x or...
No, can you keep the same thing there?
Let's
loop. Yeah.
Equals to 5.
0. Let's start with 0.
And then we can do while loop is less than 5.
All right.
Colon, and then print hello there, and then we just print, or we just press enter. And then we have to increase the loop, so we could just do loop plus equals to 1.
Ah, that's a shorthand for loop equals to loop plus 1.
And then enter.
Wonderful, wonderful, very good. All right, so now that we looked at the while construct, let's do the other one, the for loop. And back over here in the Tcl land, watch how I do it. I'm going to say for set I to 0. I is my variable. I'm setting the variable I to 0. And then what I do is I basically check for $I is less than 5. And that's a condition check. And what I do here is basically simply incur or increment I. And so having done this, at this point I'm going to say put string. I'll say loop. And at this point I'll just simply print this. So I expect it to print loop colon 0, loop colon 1, loop colon 2, and loop colon all the way loop colon 4. So this should happen 5 times. So that's how you do for loops. And let's give it a whirl here. Bingo. So it printed 5 times. Back to you, Mr. Python.
Okay. To make a for loop, do for I, and then in range, parentheses, and in the range function, you just put
5.
Yeah, 5.
Excellent.
And then colon, and then you can print loop, and then comma, and then I, and then there we go. Back to you.
All right, thank you. So now that we've gone through loops, let's go ahead and explore if-else or branching constructs, as they're known. These are very useful in writing code. So without further ado, let's continue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create, let's create a couple strings here. I'll create S1, which has apple, S2, which has banana, and let's create one more, S3, and that'll have a coconut. All right, so I've got 3 strings here, and so what I want to do is I want to write a simple if else construct here. I'm going to say now, so look what I'm doing. I'm comparing the strings. So I'm saying compare string compare s1 with s2. So I'm comparing apple with banana. So now if this comparison results, it returns back a value 0, that means the strings are equal. So I'm going to put string string s1 is equal to s2. All right. And else if. So now in this case, I know different languages have different syntax variations on else if. Some like else and if to be separate. Some say elif. Some say some variation of this. But in Tcl, you simply say else if, but the two are together. There's no space between else if. So you say else if, and so we'll say string compare s1, s2. If the comparison, it gives us -1, that means that the first string is smaller. So we will say put string string s1 is before string s2, and else, which is a final else branch here. We'll say put string s2 is after, or rather I will say s1 is after s2. All right, so what do you think, Mr. Python? What do you think should happen here? What should it print? So we have s1 as apple and s2 as banana, and the first branches, they're equal. Second branch is s1 is before s2, and third branch is s1 is after s2. What do you think should happen? Is apple before banana or after banana?
It's before.
Excellent. So let's give it a whirl. There you go. String s1 is before s2. So a is less than b. That is what it did. That is what the compare did. All right. So so what you would do is let's if I were to change this s1 to actually, instead of changing it here, why don't I copy it and copy and paste, and in this one I want to do a find and replace here. Do you know how to do a find and replace?
We can just do Command F.
Command F here, and then I want to change s1 with s3. So just click this, click on find,
and then click replace.
Replace, and then replace again.
Replace all. Do replace all.
Oh, click on replace all. Yeah. All right. So basically what I did here is basically I'm now comparing string s3 with s2, and now s3 has coconut. So coconut and banana are being compared. So coconut versus banana. So now coconut it starts with the letter C, and banana starts with letter B. So C comes after B. So now this time it should print after. S3 is after S2. Let's give it a whirl. S3 is after S2. All right, so that's how you do it here. And how do I make this go away? This one, oh, just click on this one. All right, so we have that. So heading over to the Python side of things, let's code up this if-else structure here. So first I'll define the string S1. S1 equals, what is S1? S1 is apple. S2 is banana, not baba, banana. S3 is coconut. All right, so now those are our 3 strings. Let's compare them now. If S1 equals S2, then we want to print S1. What do we want to print? We want to say string S1 is equal to S2. All right. Elif S1.
You messed up there. Why did you add a space here?
Don't we need to add space?
No, you don't. It's already tabbed.
All right.
Yeah.
So, okay. Elif S1 is greater than S2. We'll print S1. String S1 comes after S2. And last is else. And in this part, we'll simply say string S1 comes before S2. All right, so there we have it. Let's give it a whirl and see what happens. So since S1 was set to apple and S2 was set to banana, when you compare these two strings, obviously A comes before B. If you're looking at the first letter of the two strings, A comes before B, therefore apple comes before banana. That's what it's saying. So now let's go ahead and compare S2 and S3. Okay, so to do that, what I'm going to do is, let's say if S2 equals S3, simply say string S2 is equal to S3. If S2 is greater than S3, we'll print string S2 comes after S3, and the last part is the else statement, where we'll simply say string S2 comes before, I'll change it, before S3, alright? And let's go ahead and fix up the string. Printf is actually in C code, not in Python. We simply have print in Python, so there you go. And press enter. So obviously now we're comparing string 2 with string 3. So string 2 is banana and then string 3 is C. So B comes before C. So it simply says string S2 comes before S3. There you go. So that is how you do if else structures in Python. Alright, so handing back control to the Tcl guy, which is again me. Let's do, what are we going to do now?
We're doing dictionaries.
Excellent, yay! I love dictionaries. Okay, so let's do the dictionaries now. How do you do dictionaries in Tcl? Let's head back here. We are on the top pane on the right hand side, and I'm going to code dictionaries here. So what you do here is basically just call out dictionary, and we'll say dictionary set. What should we do? Let's create a dictionary called scores, and we'll say VJ score 10 points, and let's put string scores, and let's add one more item in the dictionary. We'll say set scores. John has 20 points, and again we'll put string scores. Well, actually I forgot to put the $sign here, so let's put the $sign, and command S for save. Let's give it a whirl, and bingo. So first we added this pair. The key value pair that we added was VJ and 10, and the second key value pair we added was John and 20. So our dictionary called scores, it has two items, two pairs. First pair is VJ 10, key is VJ, value is 10. Second pair is John 20, and that's what we printed out here. If you see, we printed out there. All right, so let's go ahead and create a dictionary.
Okay, to create a dictionary in Python, you would write the dictionary name and then equals to, and then curly brackets, and then here you're going to put your key and values. So the first key is VJ, and then
colon.
Actually, no, we need to put this in a string.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And then we'll put a colon, space, and then the value.
Cool.
And then you do a comma so that you can put a new one. And we'll put John. And we can do colon and then 20 points. So that is our dictionary. And then we can also print the dictionary.
Yay.
And we can even put the keys in and get the values back. So let's put VJ. VJ, and then we should get 20 or 10. Yeah, there we go.
So we just got 10 points right there. All right. So now that we've seen that part, let's head over to the Tcl side and let's go ahead and iterate over the dictionary. Actually, before we iterate, let's print out the size. So printing out the size, how do we get the size? So to get the size, let's say set or rather scores, num scores. Let's create a variable called num scores, and num scores would be set to dictionary dict size $scores. And so right now dictionary only has 2 items, so it'll set num scores equal to 2. So that's how you find the size of a dictionary, or rather how many items there are in the dictionary. And then the next thing is to iterate over the dictionary. So to iterate over the dictionary, we're going to use a for each So we'll say for each I in dict keys, and we'll say scores. So we're basically saying for each I in an array, and the array is basically a list of keys in the dictionary called scores. And so that's how you get that. And then we're going to open and close the curly brackets here. And in there we'll say set value, and we'll get the value dictionary get dollar scores. So, and then we'll say dollar I. So basically what's happening here is that we are so I is getting set to each of the keys in the dictionary called scores, and the keys are VJ and John. So I will be set to VJ first or John first, because associative arrays, they don't have an order in them. I could be set to John first or VJ first, but regardless, so when you come into the statement line here, we are saying dictionary get the dictionary, and dollar I is basically VJ. So for VJ, it'll get the value of 10, and the value will be 10. And why don't we just print it out here? We'll say put string, we'll say dollar I, which is the key, and the dollar value, which is the value corresponding to the key. So, and then I'll say command S, and we'll go down to the next terminal, the lower right hand side pane, and run this code. And as expected, look at the last two lines. This is what the last lines are printing. The key value is VJ, and the value is 10, and the key is John, and the corresponding value is 20. So that's how you get the size of the dictionary, and that's how you basically iterate over the dictionary and print out the key and value pairs. All right, handing it over back to Mr. Python. Take it away, sir.
Okay, to iterate over a dictionary, we will do for, and then we can put key in, we're going to do dictionary, and then we will do colon, and then we will print the key, and then we can do plus.
Okay, so plus, do you mind just adding this dash and an arrow? So
Yeah,
we kind of keep it. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Perfect, perfect.
And then we will do the dictionary, and then brackets, and then we will find the value, so we'll just put key.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so we're running into an issue here. It can only concatenate string, not integer to string. Oh, that is because this dictionary key is actually, it returns you a integer back, and you're trying to concatenate an integer to a string. So I believe if you put a string around this, that should work. Just give it a whirl. Control P.
So we could do option P.
Alt P.
Oh, it's Control P.
Control P, perfect.
And then we can just put the str function.
So you're converting the integer to the string right there. And
then we can press enter.
Bingo! There you go. That's how the dictionary contents can be printed out. And what about the size? Can you print the size of the dictionary by calling len function? Just say if you use the len function.
Yeah, we can try that.
Yeah, if you say len and the dictionary, bingo. Yeah. So that's how you print the size of the dictionary. So, all right. So we've gone through dictionaries also, and we've shown you how to create dictionaries both in Tcl and Perl, how to get the size of the dictionary, how to print out the key value pairs for all the items in the dictionary. What should we do next?
I think it's function time.
Yay! It's time to do functions. All right. So back to Tcl land. So now in Tcl, we call functions. We call them procs, or procedures, short for procedures. So this is how I'm going to create a simple proc, and this proc will print out hello world. Proc hello world, that's the name of the proc, and there's curly braces. And in this one, all I'm going to do is I'm going to say hello world. So that's a proc, and to call this proc, we'll simply call hello world and command S and give it a whirl. There you go. So it prints out hello world right there. And before I hand it back to Mr. Python, let me do one more simple proc. it will be add me, and it will have two arguments. Let the arguments be A and B. And notice there's no comma or anything between the two arguments. And there's the curly brackets, and then all it does is basically it returns back the sum of these two numbers. So to do that, it'll do expression $A plus $B. So that's what it returns back. And all you got to do is just say put string. And in put string, you'll say add me, and you'll pass in 2, 5, for example. And
you said you don't need a comma, right?
No, actually, here what is happening is that let's see. So we don't need commas. You're absolutely correct. And we don't need to call it this way. We need to evaluate it. Actually, you cannot invoke it that way. We need to have the square brackets to evaluate that. And that's the command, even though we've created a proc to implement that command, and the arguments are 2 and 5. So that's how you will do it, because add me is like it's not a primitive command like other commands, like expression is a command here, and these are the arguments, but it's a command that we have created. We've created this proc called add me, and these are the arguments to that. So command S to save and give it a whirl, and bingo, 2 plus 5 is 7. There you go. That's how you do procs. So those are the two procs that I've shown you. I'll let Mr. Python implement these two procs in Python.
Okay, so to create a function in Python without any parameters, we're just going to do def, and then function name, which is hello world, and then parentheses. But we're not going to add any parameters yet, so we'll just put a colon and move on. And then we'll put print, and then hello world. Now we need to call it, so we'll just type the function name and then the parentheses.
Yay! Hello world.
Now let's make the add me function. So
cool.
Def add me, and then parentheses A comma B. You need commas this time, and then we'll just return A plus B. So now we'll print add me with 2, 5. Bam.
Perfecto, dear buddy. All right, so let's quickly do a recap of what all things we have done. So we've shown you, we started out today's video by showing you how to do variables. We showed you how to create variables that store integers, floats, and strings. We showed you how to do concatenation of simple strings. After that, we've shown you how to do lists, and then dictionaries. We've shown you how to do if-else, if-elif, or if-else-if, else control structures. After that, we followed all that up by doing loops. We did while loops and for loops, and after that, I think we also did some strings, right? Yes, we did some strings as well. And we finally closed it out by doing functions, or procs, for short for procedures, and Tcl. So that's what all we had slated for today. We've gone through all those items. At this point, we'd like to close it up, wrap it up. It was fun. Hope you learned something new, interesting today. Till next time, guys. Thank you. Ciao.